Sister, sister.
शुरू होगी क्या
மேம் மெசேஜ் போட்டுருங்க உங்களை கோகோஸ்டாக பண்ண சொல்லி
Sister Princia.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Could you please give it in chat, sister, whoever I wanted to make co-host?
Sir, I'm not able to hear. Sir?
Please give it in chat, whoever I wanted to make co-host. Sister Princia, are you getting me?
Sir, it's not audible. Your voice is not audible, sir.
Yeah. Audible now. Sister? Sister?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please give me the list of people whoever I wanted to add as co-host.
Janagi Dina and sister Alphonse Roslin, sister.
Janaki is not found.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Professor Janaki. Professor Janaki.
Yes, sir.
Sister Princia.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you able to get the music that is played?
Sir, yeah, I have played the music also. Sir, is it audible, sir?
Please
Sir.
chat, sister. Please give it in chat. I am
Okay,
chatting
sir.
for a long time.
Okay, sir. மேம் மியூசிக் கேக்குதா இல்லையா?
Sister Princia, could you please come into chat? Sister Princia, I have been waiting for you. Please come into chat.
the national level seminar on our cosmic consciousness. Here we have a speaker, DEBIPRASOD. We welcome you, sir, on the behalf of Mathematics Department, sir, at Arts and Science College. You are most welcome, sir.
Sister, kindly look at the chat. Sister Princia.
Good morning to all. Good morning to all the participants and our dignitaries. Dear participants, we have a speaker with us, Dr. Dwari. On behalf of Surveyed Arts and Science College, sir, we welcome you, sir. And also, we have our facilitator, Principal of St. Joseph's College, Trichy. We welcome you, Father.
Hello. If you are sharing something, a PowerPoint presentation, then I cannot share. So before the talk,
Yeah, certainly they will stop, sir. When you talk, it will be ready for you, sir.
Dear participants, kindly mute your mic and video. Dear participants, kindly mute your mic and video. Dear participants, please avoid annotating over the slide.
விமல் இன்னும் தொடங்கலப்பா. விமல் ஜெரால்ட், விமல் ஜெரால்ட், Vimal Gerald.
Yes, Father.
Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, Father. Perfectly audible, Father.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
கேட்கவே இல்லைங்க சார். Yes. அந்த நீங்க வந்து அனுப்பி விடுங்க சார், கொஞ்சம் நீங்க அதை அனுப்பி விடுங்கன்னா நான் அப்புறம் தான் இது பண்ணுவேன். Dear participants, good morning to all. We have a technical problem in speaker side, so let's wait for 10 to 15 minutes. Please do bear with us. There is a technical problem in the side of the speaker, so please do bear with us. Just wait for 10 to 15 minutes. Dear participants, kindly mute your mic and video. Please avoid annotating over the slides. There is a technical problem in the side of speaker. Let's wait for 10 to 15 minutes. Please bear with us. Dear participants, once again, I advise you not to annotate over the slides. Please mute your mic and video.
Hello, can you listen to me?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Perfectly all right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is from my mobile, but I cannot show the background or my presentation.
That's
because the
understood, sir.
present-
That's understood, sir. We understand the problem, power failure. Could you
Yes.
please deliver the talk from the mobile, sir?
Yeah, but then I cannot show any presentation. So basically, I will request you to wait for 5-10 minutes or so. If by chance the power comes within that, I will give it as normal. Otherwise, I will just talk.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Shall we go ahead with the felicitation, sir? It will take about 15 minutes, the first program.
Yes, okay, just wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then start, right?
Okay,
Because I'm praying the card comes, right?
Yeah, okay, sir. Perfectly all right. We'll wait, sir. We'll wait. We'll wait.
Electric supply, electric supply.
বলছি হ্যাঁ এই যে আমাদের ঠিক 11টার সময় পাওয়ার চলে গেছে আসলে আমার হাজবেন্ডের একটা ইন্টারন্যাশনাল নাম্বার
বল না
কোথায় মিলবে?
এই দেখ না, এই তো পাখাটা অফ হয়ে রয়েছে, তার মানে কি কারেন্ট নেই।
Dear participants, good morning to all. Sorry for inconvenience. We'll have a technical problem on the side of the speaker. Please bear with us. Let's wait for 10 to 15 minutes.
আমাদের টাকা কি বলবো?
Very good morning to all the participants who have joined with us from various parts of India. You are most welcome to the national level webinar on our cosmic consciousness. We regret you that we have a technical problem in the side of the speaker, so please bear with us. Let's wait for 10 to 15 minutes.
আমি যাই। টাটা কোথায়?
জট পাকিয়ে
Morning,
বসে
ma'am.
আছে। But
Dear participants, kindly mute your mic and video. We regret you that we had an inconvenient in the speaker side. Please do bear with us.
Vimal Gerald,
Father, yes, Father.
you can reduce the volume of the music, but
Yeah, yes, Father. I will inform. Yes, Father.
the announcements are going on.
Yes,
They
Father.
will
Yes,
not
Father.
be able to listen to them.
Sure, Father. Sure, Father.
Mild music. Very
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
Dear participants, good morning to all. On the behalf of Department of Mathematics, Servite Arts and Science College for Women, we welcome you all. We regret you that we had an inconvenient in the speaker side due to some technical problem. Please bear with us. Let's wait for 10 to 15 minutes. Sorry for inconvenient. Good morning to all. Dear participants, we are sorry to inform you that there is a technical issue and because of which the commencement of the program is delayed. Sorry for the inconveniences caused. We assure you to begin the program in few minutes. Inconveniences caused regretted. Dear participants, once again, we sorry to inform you that there is a technical issue and because of which the commencement of the program is delayed. Sorry for the inconveniences caused. We assure you to begin the program in few minutes. Inconveniences caused regret. Dear participants, our kind advice, please mute your mic and videos.
Dear participants, we would like you to mute your videos. Still, some of the participants have not muted your videos. Kindly abide by the rules so that the webinar will be at ease and we can start the webinar early.
PPT network disconnect the format.
ஆனால் இந்த சாங் போயிடுச்சு. Dear participants, once again, we feel very sorry to inform you that there is a technical issue and because of which the commencement of the program is delayed. Sorry for the inconvenience caused. We assure you to begin the program in few minutes. Inconveniences caused regretted. Please do bear with us.
We truly regret for the inconvenience caused. Kindly bear with us and we will set the technical issue as early as possible. Thank you for your patience and thank you for understanding our situation. Dear participants, instead of just giving your greetings at the chat box, kindly give your name and the institution from which you come and their address.
Dear participants, thank you for all your patience. Thank you for all your cooperation. Let's start this meet.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an auspicious day and pleasant morning. Myself, Hema, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, welcome you all to this online webinar on cosmic consciousness. God is Alpha and Omega. Let's begin this webinar invoking God's blessing as the hill is played over. welcoming is a rich tradition in Indian culture. Welcoming is a rich tradition in Indian culture. May I request our beloved principal, Reverend Dr. Sister Alphonse Rosalie Mary, who is the source behind this webinar, to welcome the speaker and the participants.
Mathematics is the language through which God wrote the universe. Esteemed chief guest of our national webinar organized by Department of Mathematics of our Surveyed Arts and Science College for Women, learned principals, professors, research scholars, and well-wishers, good morning to every one of you. I feel extremely happy and proud to introduce and welcome our honorable persons of today. First of all, I would like to welcome Dr. DEBIPRASOD, the director of MP BIRLA Planetarium, which was inaugurated by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, which also stands as the biggest planetarium in Asia and second largest in the world. Every breath reminds us of connection with the universe. Our great astronomer and researcher, Dr. DEBIPRASOD, is going to speak on the topic, our cosmic consciousness. He is not only speaking about cosmic consciousness, he is a mystic and scientist who live with cosmic consciousness and work to create cosmic consciousness among people from all over the globe. An average person discusses about people An intelligent person discuss about actions. An extraordinary person discuss about the cosmos, realities, and wonders of the universe. Dr. Tiwari is an extraordinary person with higher level of consciousness about nature, solar system, stellar universe, Milky Way galaxies, in short, about our whole universe. His thoughts are deep like ocean, wide like the sky, and height is limitless. He is not only conscious about the cosmos, but he is also very conscious towards the human dignity and divine reality. He loves people, love nature, and he loves the universe. Indeed, we are lucky to have such a good person as an eminent speaker. He's and a writer and a great scientist of our time. He did his UG and PG in physics in Jadavpur University and PhD in Pune Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics. He is a visiting professor all over the country. He has visited almost all countries in the world. He has given more than 2,000 lectures, live television interviews. He has published thousands of papers and 4 books on astronomy. He is all the resource person for UGC, DST, DBT, Inspire, and member of many associations like Royal Astronomical Society, Indian Science Congress Association, etc. He got many awards for his great service to astronomy and space science. Sir, we are proud of your achievements and admire your cosmic knowledge and consciousness. Hearty welcome, dear sir. Next, I would like to welcome Reverend Dr. M. Arokya Swami Xavier, who has come to felicitate our national webinar. He is the principal and associate professor of history from St. Joseph's College, Autonomous Trichy, which is blessed with a college with potential for excellence, special heritage status college, DST Fifth Star College, which has formed thousands of great leaders like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, our former president. Under the able guidance and dynamic leadership of Father Arokya Swami Xavier, St. Joseph's College has got the A++ grade in India in the fourth cycle. Also, they got 31st place in national ranking NIRF in 2020. He is also a principal of Loyola College, Chennai. Some people study history, some people teach history, some people become history. Our principal, Dr. Arokya Swami Xavier, creates history after history by his noble vision and mission. He has received the Best Principal Award. He was a gold medalist in his UG and PG. He has visited 14 countries, guided 18 scholars. He got the major project from UGC. He has published 11 books, more than 50 papers, and 80 consultancy sources. He is a great visionary. And by his generosity, our college has signed MOU with this guidance and generosity. Our college has signed MOU with this 176 years old heritage college. With deep sense of joy and gratitude, and also as an alumni of St. Joseph's College, I cordially welcome dear Father. Hearty welcome, Father. I also welcome Professor Vimal Gerald from Department of Computer Science from St. Joseph's College, who is an active trainer, committed teacher, and young scientist and well-wisher of our college. Dear participants from various universities, colleges of India and abroad, we cordially welcome each one of you for our national webinar on the topic, our cosmic consciousness. More than 1,050 persons from all over the country and outside the country has registered. We were touched by your love for space, universe, and astronomy. You have added beauty to our webinar. Once again, I welcome all our dignitarians and the participants. Hearty welcome, dear friends. Have a memorable cosmic experience. Thank you.
Very kind of you, sister, for your warm words of welcome. It is very much odd that we have one eminent academician who is from the only Heritage College of Tamil Nadu. It is none other than Reverend Dr. M. Arogyasamy Xavier S.A., who is the principal of St. Joseph College, Trichy, recipient of the Best Principal Award to felicitate the virtual gathering.
Respected and esteemed speaker of this webinar, Dr. Duri, Director, Research and Academic Institute, MP BIRLA Planetarium, Kolkata. Dear and beloved Reverend Sister Dr. Rosaline, the Principal of Servite Arts and Science College, dear HOD, and the Professor of the Department of Mathematics, my dear participants and guests, good morning to you all. I am very happy to be associated with Servite Arts and College for Women at Tohamalai, and I also would like to congratulate and appreciate Sister Rosaline, the Principal, for organizing this excellent webinar. I also would like to congratulate and appreciate the Department of Mathematics for organizing this useful, very timely webinar for us. And under the principal's dynamic leadership, 12 national and international webinars and FDP programs were organized during this lockdown period. It is really great. It's a small college in a remote village, but creating history. We are very proud that we, the St. Joseph's College, the 176-year-old institution, the premier institution, the special heritage status institution, as an MOU with you, sister, I would like to appreciate you very personally and sincerely. Dear learned participants, with all the limitations, they are able to do well, so much. Just you noticed few minutes ago, we had some disturbances in the connectivity. We are in India. We have to understand the situation. With this kind of limitations, she is able to do well with the help of the other departments in the college. And I also would like to appreciate them for organizing this webinar on this particular theme. Not only very interesting theme, but also very, very useful, which would enlighten us all, I'm sure. The speaker is very renowned and learned educationist who is an authority on this field, as you would listen to him on this topic. My dear learned participants, I am very much taken up by the overwhelming response for this webinar from different states and from different countries too. It shows the interests of the academicians and scholars, for they would like to know about the college first of all. For these three reasons. First, the college is becoming very popular, for the participants believe that sister and the dedicated faculty members would organize a useful webinar. Second thing is the theme, our cosmic consciousness, very useful. Third one, why this overwhelming response for this webinar is the distinguished and learned speaker of this webinar from Kolkata, BIRLA Planetarium. And it's a wonderful topic which would touch not only science, philosophy, but also spirituality, which is the need of the hour. My dear learned participants, great sages, saints, mystics, and others of our land and other places understood and experienced and shared their wisdom and invited us to experience the same. Cosmic consciousness is an interconnected way of looking at things. They invited us to be aware of the same and experience this cosmic consciousness. This experience, which our sages and saints have experienced, is very much needed in today's context. Greater realization is important as we need to be closely associated with the nature. Listen to the nature, resonate with it, and enjoy the nature. And realize that we are one with the whole cosmos. Everything is one. Everything is in the world is well connected. We become one when we realize that. A Jesuit scientist, paleontologist, geologist, and a well-known theologian of the last century, Father Teilhard de Chardin, would say, we are not human beings having spiritual experiences, but we are spiritual beings having human experience. Yes, dear participants, each one is called to become aware of the fact and attain that level of consciousness. When we'll achieve that level, when we are ready to love everybody, everything in this cosmos, we'll be able to understand and experience this great cosmic consciousness. And we are co-creators of this world. His invitation clearly explains to us our duty as men and women is to proceed as if limits to our ability did not exist. We are collaborators in creation. Now, dear learned participants, we are here to listen to a great personality on such an important topic, and such a busy and great scientist is with us to explain the theme and enlighten us with his thought-provoking speech. Surely this webinar by this renowned scientist, speaker of today on the topic, our cosmic consciousness, will ignite our minds and change our perspective and our way of life. I sincerely thank our honorable resource person to be with us today. I congratulate once again Reverend Sister Roslyn, the principal, for organizing such a meaningful webinar for the participants. May God bless us all and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Father, for your felicitation. It was indeed encouraging and motivating. I believe that the mind is the last planet that is left unexplored. Achieving the universal or cosmic consciousness is the highest goal to mankind, says a scientist. It is an honor organizing this webinar on cosmic consciousness. Our honor and joy doubles to have one of the greatest personalities and space scientists, Dr. DEBIPRASOD, Director, Research and Academies, MP BIRLA Institute of Research and Academies, MP BIRLA Planetarium, which is the first largest planetarium in Asia and the second planetarium in the world. May I invite Honorable Dr. DEBIPRASOD to enlighten us with cosmic consciousness in us by his scientific research factual insight.
A very good afternoon to you all. I am very sorry that it is because of the power failure of a high tension line in our locality, we could not start the seminar on time. And I really apologize to all the participants and organizers for this delay. I sincerely hope that there will be more number of people who will be waiting anxiously for this lecture. But one thing first I should mention that I am really thankful and obliged and feel honored that I have been given this opportunity to give a webinar at the SUARI College of Arts and Commerce for Women. It is also Reverend Sister Rosalind, who is a long-time friend of mine, and that she has given me this opportunity. I thank her personally. I am also very indebted to the organizers for giving such a wonderful introduction. So without much delay, let us start our today's lecture. Today, we are going to discuss about issues which I have titled as our cosmic consciousness. The word consciousness, if you go to the dictionary meaning, it means to be aware of your surrounding, to be aware of your environment, and to be aware of who you are. So the connection, as mentioned by the Reverend Father, the connection between us and everything around us, that gives us the feeling of consciousness. And during these difficult times, for the last 6 months or so, the whole world is as if going through a crisis. And this crisis of the pandemic is making all of us a little afraid, a little apprehensive, and unsure about the future. But what I have come to know that in these times, more and more number of people are getting the time, are getting their correct emotions to understand themselves vis-a-vis everything around. People, society, environment, and the whole cosmos. So, as if most of us are going inside us, there is a cosmos in each one of us. And we are trying to sometimes link it with the cosmos that is all around us in the largest scale, the grandest design of nature. And this consciousness is making them understand we are very small compared to all these huge design. But at the same time, in each one of us, we are huge, we are large. Because we have the power to be conscious. We have the power to think ahead. We have the power to understand our own potential and try to struggle even in times of these sort of global pandemic situation. See, half an hour back, the situation was such, at least at my place, there was no power over a large part of the city. We tried desperately, and I was really sad that after so much of arrangements made by the organizers, I cannot face all of you. But you have to keep your mind up. You have to keep your spirits up. And that happened. And see how we have now coming face to face together. So today, my lecture will be on cosmic consciousness. Let me share with you a small PowerPoint presentation. It's not very small. I have structured the talk around an hour. So let us see how many of you have the patience to see the end of the lecture. So now, can the participants see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So today's talk, the cosmic consciousness. Thousands of years back, when our ancestors used to look into the sky, they used to wonder, what is sky?
Where is sky? What are those lighted dots we call stars? And is there any connection between the star and the earth? With these set of questions and queries, the subject of astronomy was born. So astronomy can be considered as one of the oldest subjects that human minds have dwelt upon. At the same time, given the huge number of news items that you regularly get to see in the newspaper or television channels, you get an idea. It is also one of the latest happening subject in the world itself. So throughout the world, there is as if a revolution is happening. Every country, developing, underdeveloped, fully developed, they're desperately trying to build newer and newer facilities, bigger and bigger objects, because they have realized the country which will be the first to understand the deep depth of the cosmos will probably win the race in trying to understand the grand design of nature. And just for example, in this inhospitable terrain in the Pyrenees mountain of France, they have built this observatory called Pic du Midi. The cost of building this observatory was $30 million. One of the small Hawaiian archipelago island called Mauna Kea. On top of Mauna Kea, 6 countries have created 9 observatories. The smallest one cost is around $50 million. So that tells you what a gigantic amount of effort is going on throughout the world to understand the skies. But you'll be very happy to know the work is still going on. They have started not only in optical wavelength, but in radio wavelength as well. The sky, the cosmos is observed every minute, every second. And this is one of the wonderful machines, a 100-meter diameter telescope, radio telescope in Effelsberg in Germany. But the largest telescope is yet to happen. The world's largest telescope will be named TMT, 30-meter telescope. A telescope with a 30-meter diameter at the heart of it. 5 countries are collaborating to build this telescope: USA, Canada, Japan, China, and India. Indian government has earmarked around 1,500 crore rupees as its contribution towards building this telescope. So India, in a big way, is also investing into the understanding of nature. And we know another large project, SCA, Square Kilometer Array. It's a series of antennas, radio antennas, around 200 dish antennas in South Africa and 130,000 small dipole antennas in Australia, which will be more powerful than any existing radio telescopes. And India is one of the international partners of this project. Not only that, we all know in 2016, scientists discovered a phenomena which was predicted way back in 1916 by Albert Einstein, the presence of gravitational wave. When 2 very heavy objects, they go around itself, they produce as if a ripple in the space-time. And this ripple travels throughout the universe at a speed of light and is called the gravitational wave or gravitational radiation. This gravitational wave was discovered in 2016 in 2 of the finest laboratories in US. But India has started a collaboration with this LIGO project, Laser Interferometry Gravitational Observatory. And in the state of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, between that region, they are building the Indigo project, Indian Gravitational Observatory. So it is a very exciting time for Indian students, Indian researchers, when they talk about the sky. The night sky. Thousands of years back, our ancestors, when they used to look into the night sky, they used to wonder what is the meaning behind those lighted dots, but they couldn't find an answer. So in that desperation, what they did, they chose different parts of the sky, identified closely spaced stars, joined those stars through straight lines, and created imaginary figures. In this way, the whole sky was divided into 88 regions, each region being governed by an imaginary figure, which we today call Taramandal or constellation. But we know that they are imaginary. But even today, these sort of imaginary signs and signature on the sky, which our ancestors have created, can be useful. Just to give you a small example, if you have lost your way in a forest or a desert, and you want to go in the southern direction, how to go there? If you happen to see the Saptarshi Mandal, Big Deeper, as it is called, in the sky, take the last two stars, join them in your mind, produce it onto the sky. It will heat up on a single star, and that star is called the pole star. The moment you get to know the pole star, you know which is north, south, east, and west. So even today, these imaginary signs, they do make sense in our physical world. Let us consider the earth and the sky surrounding it. Let us consider the earth at the center and the sky like the inside of a globe. Take the equator of the earth. On your mind, produce it onto the sky. On the sky, it will create a great circle, and let us call it the celestial equator. Now you all know that Earth is going round the sun once in 365.25 days around an axis. And it goes round itself once in 24 hours around another axis. And these two axes are not parallel. They're inclined at an angle of 23.5 degrees. That is very important. And as the Earth is going round the sun, it appears to us, since the sky is just a two-dimensional surface, it appears to us as if sun is going round the Earth once in one complete year. This imaginary path of the sun on the sky in one complete year is called the ecliptic, loci of eclipses. Now, because of the tilt of the revolution axis and the spinning axis by 23.5 degrees, two imaginary planes, the blue-colored celestial equatorial plane and the yellow-colored ecliptic plane, they are also inclined to one another. Since they're inclined, they will intersect each other along a straight line. And the extreme points of these straight lines are of little importance. The first extreme point is called the point of vernal equinox. The word equinox comes from Latin. It means equal nights. 21st or 22nd of March, sun appears at that point. That day it is exactly equal amount of daytime and nighttime. March, April, May, June. 21st of June, sun appears on the northernmost point of the yellow-colored plane. That day it is the longest day and the shortest night for the northern hemisphere people. 22nd September, sun goes to the other extreme, again equal amount of daytime and nighttime. And 21st or 22nd of December, sun comes at the southernmost point. That day it is the most shortest day and the longest night for the northern hemisphere people. So this continuous variation of daytime and nighttime occurs just because of this accidental tilt of two planes. Now let us talk about the sun, earth, and the moon. You may be wondering that these are taught in class 7, class 6 nowadays. What is new to it? But yes, there are certain aspects which really makes us amazed about this whole cosmic dance that is going on continuously. For example, because of the tilt, season changes occur on Earth. When Earth is on this left-hand side of the sun, because of the sun's ray falling directly onto the north and slantingly onto the south, it becomes summer in the north, winter in the south. 6 months later, when on the right-hand side, when sun rays falling directly onto the south and slantingly onto the north, it is summer in the south, winter in the north. And it is because of that season changes occur. And season changes occur, that is very an important issue on Earth, for life, because it is because of the change of seasons, the temperature difference occurs between two globes. And because of this change in temperature, there are ocean currents. And because of the ocean currents, there are air currents in our atmosphere. And because of the presence of the air currents, clouds are born somewhere and gathered somewhere else and give us rain and fresh water. So life would not have been possible if these two axes of revolution and rotation, spin, were parallel to each other. So life happened. It's a chance happening on Earth because of this tilt. Solar eclipse. Recently, a solar eclipse occurred, partial for your place, annular in the northernmost territory of the country, and it is a wonderful cosmic phenomenon. One side is the sun, middle is the moon, one side is the earth. Sun's rays falling onto the moon, moon's shadow falling onto a small patch of space on Earth, and people staying on that patch of space at that point of time will see as if there is an eclipse. The moon has covered up the disk of the sun. It is a wonderful phenomenon, but I'm sorry to say there are still some taboos, some beliefs which are not really correct that goes on along with the phenomena of eclipse. But from this picture you see, taken from space, how the shadow of the moon has fallen on a patch on the globe of our Earth. And within that patch, people will experience a solar eclipse. And this picture also gives us a wonderful explanation As the Earth is spinning around itself once in 24 hours, see how the shadow of the moon crosses the globe of the Earth. This is called the path of total solar eclipse. And along this path, whoever is staying, they will see a solar eclipse happening. And 21st of June, just a week back, you all know that in the northern part, there was a wonderful, wonderful experience. This was taken from Dehradun, and how the disk of fire, which is called the annular eclipse, when the moon, size of the moon as seen from the Earth, because of its position in the elliptic orbit away from the Earth, is smaller than that of the sun as it appears from the Earth. And we get a fantastic annular eclipse. It was during this eclipse, sun was discovered as a new avatar. They found out from the surface of the sun every second, huge amount of milky white radiation is coming out. When the scientists started asking what is causing this radiation, they were amazed. They found out from the surface of the sun every second, 16 lakh tons of charged particles are coming out. These charged particles, as they move through the magnetic field of the sun, they produce this milky white radiation. The average velocity of these charged particles are 450 kilometers per second. With that speed, they have enough momentum. If they heat any atom or molecule, instantaneously they will break apart. Basically, that means if I now stop this lecture and go out and stand on the sun, the charged particle coming from the surface of the sun, the moment they hit my body, within fraction of a second, my whole body should disintegrate. But I am alive. How? I will come to that. Tides, a very, very important phenomena for life to evolve and thrive on Earth. Because it is because of the high tides, multicellular organisms brought around the water at the high tide, brought around the multicellular organisms onto the shores. The water used to go down, they used to get stranded on the land and used to get killed. But over millions of years, they got the adaptation of staying alive on land. And from there, different animals happened. Monkeys arrived, and from their monkeys, we have arrived. So that we are here is because of the tides are there. If I now ask you, why does tide occur? Most of you know the answer. It is moon which is attracting the water on the surface of the Earth. But let me tell you, my friend, it is not only the moon. Sun also attracts the water on Earth. Because if you take the calculation, the distance of sun, Earth and moon Earth, and their diameter and their gravitational force is such, sun is attracting 173 times more the Earth than the moon. Then why do you say moon is important? Because tide is not a force, it is rather a force derivative, technically m1 m2 by r cube. And that is the reason, since moon is 384,000 kilometers away and sun is 15 crore kilometers away, moon wins. But a lot of our teachers never told us during our childhood, sun also attracts the Earth's water. Do you know how much? 47% than the moon does. Now you see, if I consider the Earth and the sun on one side, or the moon on one side, we should expect a high tide on that side of the Earth. But we actually experience that high tide on the antipodal, or the exactly 180 degrees away from the direction where Earth is facing the moon. This happens because the tide is actually an interaction between the centrifugal force and the gravitational force. So on the side of the Earth where it is facing the moon, it is gravitational force which wins, making the water bulge out towards the moon. And in the other side, it is the centrifugal force which wins, making the water bulge on the other side as well. Amazing. This is the picture of the moon, the picture of the Earth taken from the surface of the moon. What is moon? According to the scientists, 452 crore years back, or 4.52 billion years back, a huge ball of rock came and slammed onto the Earth with such a force. Huge amount of surface material got gouged up and was thrown up into space. It couldn't go away forever, but going to a very vast distance for millions of years, it coagulated, condensed, contracted, and gave birth to our moon. This theory goes by the name the collision ejection theory. Let us now start our journey out of our earthly bounds into space and time. Why am I using this very poetic statement? Because it is 1905, Sir Albert Einstein gave a lot of theories. I'm not discussing theory today in this webinar, but the results of that, we ultimately came to know that light travels at a speed of 3 lakh kilometers per second in vacuum. And this is a constant velocity. So if you take the distance from sun to earth, 15 crore kilometers, velocity of light 3 lakh kilometers per second. If you do a small division, any class 7 textbook in geography will give you the information that the distance between sun and earth is 8.3 light minutes, or light takes 8.3 minutes to come from sun to earth. But what is the physical meaning behind this? The physical meaning is that if you now, after the seminar, go out and stand on the sun, and for a fraction of a second look at the sun, you have to tell yourself, the sun that you are seeing is the image of the sun as it was 8.3 minutes back, right? The closest star, called Proxima Centauri, 4.2 light years away. If tonight, if the sky is clear through a binocular, you can see Proxima Centauri, and you have to tell yourself, the star that you are seeing, it is the image of the star as it was 4.2 years back. So my friends, in your household, if the young generation tells you or your parents that take me to the science city, nearby science city, I want to get into a time machine, don't spend the money, because in any clear night, go out into the open, tilt your head. The deeper you are seeing your own past. We don't realize that always. So it is always a time travel to the past the moment we look up in the sky. So it is a fascinating feeling. And that's how, observing the sky, we try to understand who we are, what is our real position, and that is a part of our consciousness. The first stop of the solar system, right, is the first stop of our journey is the solar system. Somebody is scribbling on this thing on the slide. Please don't scribble, because others may find it a little disturbing, right? Sun. Sun is our nearest star and the main object of the solar system. What is sun? According to the scientist, 460 crore years back, or 4.6 billion years back, a huge cloud of gas and dust was floating in space. In terms of number of particles, this cloud was made up of 91% hydrogen, 8% helium, 1% rest other element. In terms of mass, 74% hydrogen, 25% helium, 1% rest other elements. The average temperature of this gas cloud was minus 240 degrees centigrade. At minus 240 degrees centigrade, out of the 4 fundamental forces of nature, only one type of force comes into play, and that is the force of self-gravity. The force of self-gravity will attract the periphery of this gas cloud towards the center. As the gas goes toward the central density rises. As the density builds up, the pressure builds up. As the pressure builds up, temperature builds up. And starting from minus 240 degrees centigrade, the temperature rose to a fascinating level of 1.5 crore degrees centigrade. And at that temperature, one physical reaction happens. As if 4 hydrogen nuclei, they come together, fuse together, and produce a helium nucleus. This does not happen just like that. 2 hydrogen nuclei or 2 protons give rise to a deuterium, and 2 deuterium with another proton give rise to 3 helium, whereas 2 3 helium nuclei fuse together and produce a 4 helium and 2 protons. So effectively, it is 4 protons or 4 hydrogen nuclei giving rise to helium nucleus. Huge amount of energy is produced at this reaction. And as the energy tries to come out from the central region, a pressure builds up called radiation pressure outwards. This radiation pressure, when it exactly balances and matches the inward force of gravity, sun being a ball of gas remains hanging there for millions of years without dissipating. It's an amazing, amazing physical happening. How did the solar system happen? As I was mentioning, the birth of the sun, which came out from a huge cloud of gas and dust, so it was actually spinning. And because of the spin, as it was becoming small, because of the conservation of angular momentum, it condensed into a disk, flattened disk. At the central part of the disk, when the temperature rose to 1.5 crore, sun was born. And in the outer periphery, when the temperature was less, gas and dust condensed, coagulated, coalesced, and has given birth to our planetary system. If I bring down the sun from the sky on the earth and cut it like a watermelon, inside there are three regions. The very central part where the thermonuclear fusion reaction is going on is called the core. Then for a huge volume of space, the heat that is generated radiates outward. That is called the radiative zone. And sun is very funny looking. From the surface up to a depth of 650 to 700 kilometers, pillars of gas, columns of gas stacked one after another. Heat coming from inside hits the bottom layer of the gas pillar. Gas, when it is heated, rises up, comes to the surface, deposits the heat as sunlight, becoming cold like a fountain, goes down and continuously raises the heat from inside. This is called the convective zone. Outwardly, sun is again divided into three regions. The sun that you get to see in the early morning or evening is called the photosphere. Over the photosphere, in a very thin layer, exquisitely pink-colored gas can be seen. That is called the chromosphere. Chroma means color. And for thousands and thousands of kilometers of milky white radiation called corona. Nothing to do with coronavirus. The word corona in Latin means crown, as if sun is wearing a crown. This is a wonderful picture on the lower left-hand side. The picture that you are seeing is actually the sun's surface. These granulations are nothing but this beehive-like structure, right? Each is a column of gas. As the heat is coming from inside, the middle region is lighted. The moment it comes on the surface, deposits the heat as sunlight, becoming cold and going down. The temperature is missing. The heat is missing as well as the temperature is less, and it looks typical dark boundary. The typical size of each of these cells on the surface of sun is roughly around 900 to 1,000 kilometers in diameter. This is an exquisitely beautiful picture of the chromosphere taken during a total solar eclipse. How the spikes of gas called spicules can be seen just above the photospherical region. And it's out of the world. It's an amazing picture of the corona of the sun. Milky white radiation coming out from the surface, which cannot be seen on the other times. So my friend, the sun that we regularly get to see every day almost, and we take it for granted. We know if we look deep inside us, it is because of the sun's energy that we are alive. It is through the photosynthesis using sun's energy, plants produce glucose. And it is that glucose inside each of one of us gives us the energy to continue with life, to continue with different functions. So each one of us is carrying sun's energy within us. And that sun is an amazing person, rather object. Sun sometimes becomes very active. You get to see black regions, black splotches in the surface of the sun. Sometimes one, sometimes 10, 20 in a group. That is called the sunspot. What are they? The average surface temperature of sun is around 5,500 degrees centigrade. At 5,600 degrees centigrade, gas cannot remain as gas. It becomes plasma. And you know that plasma has a property, wherever there is a magnetic field, plasma will try to get repelled from it, go away from that region. On the surface of the sun, very randomly, small pockets of magnetism to form. A column of plasma, as it is trying to bring the heat from inside, if it realizes that there is a magnetic field, it will not come out straight. It will take the heat away from different directions, and the region will be looking dark, and it's called sunspot. My friend, this picture, it's an amazing picture taken in 2012. The cost of taking this picture was around $1.2 billion. Why? Because my friend scientists have found out every second, huge amount of explosions are happening on the surface of the sun. Thousands of tons of gas are getting thrown out from the surface, reaching a height of 20 to 25,000 kilometers, making big arch and loops coming back onto the surface. Sometimes they get thrown up with such a force, they get detached from the surface of the sun and flow past the whole solar system like a solar wind. It's an amazing, you can see the structures on the surface of the sun. And this is an amazing video. Do you know what is the size of the loop? 3 Earths can go side by side inside that cavity of the loop. So it tells you that though we take sun for accepted, but sun is an amazingly interesting object. But these charged particles, as they come out of the surface of the sun in this solar wind, as I told you, their velocity is such, if they hit anything, it will instantaneously get destroyed. But why we are alive on Earth? Just by a sheer accident, sheer chance. Earth behaves like a bar magnet, and around the Earth, like a peels of an orange, there is a magnetic shield which is invisible. These charged particles, they come and slam onto the magnetic shield and cannot enter and flow past the Earth, and we think we are the king and queen of ourselves. But if you remember your class 8 days, drawing the magnetic lines of a force of a bar magnet, in the northern and southern magnetic polar region, there was as if there is a gap, there is open field lines. These charged particles, they entered the Earth's atmosphere through these open field lines. And before hitting the ground, they interact with the air molecules and make them glow. And what we get to see? Auroras. Aurora borealis in northern hemisphere, Aurora australis in southern hemisphere. I had this beautiful opportunity of actually observing auroras a couple of times, and this was in 2006. At the northernmost part of Norway, we could take this photograph, which reminds us sun is interacting with Earth every second of our existence. Though we may not think so, but our lives is not only guided by the energy of the sun, but sun is interacting with our Earth every point of our existence. And this, when the solar wind can become a more powerful, it can disrupt the telecommunication system. It can disrupt the electronics of the satellite. It can create coronal discharge in the high tension power grid. It can create ground currents. So our space weather, as it is called, is totally dependent on how sun is choosing to behave. So sun is important. And we are now coming to know about the details about this coronal region, because a couple of years back, Parker Solar Probe was sent to go through the innermost part of the sun's region at a distance, obviously, otherwise it will melt. But it has gone very, very far into the solar atmosphere and trying to give us new theories about new ideas about sun. After the sun, let us talk about the solar system. How did it happen? 460 crore years back, when sun was getting born at the central part of the disk in the outer periphery, where the temperature was less, gas and dust condensed, coagulated, gave birth to very hot spherical objects. For millions of years, they condensed, coagulated, became very hot. But for millions of years, they dissipated away the heat, and at least the first four, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, became rocky or terrestrial, whereas the other four, major, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, they're mostly made up of gas. This is a collage of all the planets of our solar system. True colors, first is Mercury, next is Venus. You do not get to see the surface of Venus. It is covered by a thick layer of cloud. Cloud is made up of concentrated sulfuric acid vapor. When it rains on Venus, it is droplets of sulfuric acid which falls on the ground. The atmosphere is 96% carbon dioxide. As a result, the greenhouse effect is such, though it is the second planet of the solar system, it is also the hottest planet. Next is our mother Earth. Let us not talk about her tonight. Next is the red planet Mars. Why red? Because it is rusting on the surface. Ferrous and ferric oxide covers the region. But scientists are interested because this 2002 photograph of Hubble Space Telescope have shown white deposits on the polar region. According to them, this white deposit is actually a mixture of water ice, dry ice, ammonia ice, and carbon dioxide ice. So according to them, even if a part of it is dry ice or water ice, maybe liquid water used to flow on the surface of Mars millions of years back. And we know water ice, if there was liquid water, there could have been life on Mars. So was there life on Mars? Is there still life on Mars is a big question. Now next is the Jupiter. 319 times heavier than Earth. Takes almost 11.84 years to go around the sun once, but takes only 9.5 to 10 hours to go around itself. With a tremendous spin, it has dragged the clouds of the atmosphere and created this elastic belt-like structure. Till today, around 74 moons of Jupiter has been discovered. Next comes the beauty of the solar system, the Saturn, of absolutely beautiful ring system, right? It takes 29.4 years to go around the sun, and also has more than 85 satellites. Next is Uranus. Yes, because it has a ring. Neptune, blue in color, covered by methane-bearing clouds. And then comes the most small, nanne munne planet, that was Pluto. It has its three major moons, Charon, Nixon, Hydra. Now, if we now consider Mars, for the last 10-15 years, Mars has taken place in the people's imagination and also in the scientists' endeavor to conquer space. Why? Because they have found these sort of features on the surface, as if liquid water has flown through the surface of Mars. And it is very important for Earth, because if there was life, if there is still life, how it will affect our Earth and us. So, 2008, Phoenix landed onto the surface of Mars. Among a lot of instruments, it had a robotic arm, which was supposed to scratch a little bit of the Martian surface and see whether just below the surface there is any water ice. I'm showing you very rare photographs. On the 20th day of operation, as they scratched a little bit, they found some white sediments. They were happy. And you see these three peoples, whitish in color, after 4 days, not to be seen. This is for the first time human civilization have found proof of water ice outside the boundary of Earth. The next picture is more dramatic. This is a sidewall of a crater on Mars. And you see during summer, there was these black streaks. At the same place, winter, there was nothing. Again, you see summer, these black streaks. They found liquid water floating on the surface of Mars. Immediately, the scientists realized that we have to go deeper in our understanding, in our adventure onto the Mars, because it can open up a lot of secrets and which can ultimately help the human civilization. So 2012, Curiosity landed on the surface of Mars. The first picture it sent was amazing. A dried up riverbed, which we get to see on Earth during summertime, right? Totally devoid of water. But in rainy season, it fills up. They also saw pebbles, which can only happen if stones rolling through water gets broken and gets smoothened and create pebbles. So definitely there was liquid water on Mars. And when the whole world was realizing that we have to do something about Mars mission, it was 2012, 15th of August, at the Indian Independence Day, the then Prime Minister declared in the Lok Sabha that India is ready for a Mars mission. It was a historic moment. Throughout the world, most of the countries showed their doubts because they were not sure whether India is capable to have a space mission reaching Mars. But it's an amazing feeling to each one of us because we know the history, what happened. On 6th of December 2013, sitting atop a nose cone of a PSLV X-25 rocket, our Mangalyaan Mars orbiter mission was sent onto space. And after almost 9 months, it was successfully injected onto an orbit around Mars. That was one of the most precious moments in the Indian history of science and technology. And believe me, my friend, we should all feel tremendously proud of what our scientists at ISRO has done. Because don't forget, starting from 1967 onwards, 53 missions to Mars has happened. Only 22 has succeeded, and none at the first instance. Indian scientists have really made us proud by doing that. Among a lot of pictures that the Mangalyaan has sent, the camera that Indian scientists have built is such a tremendously powerful camera. NASA is creating three-dimensional topography from two-dimensional photographs taken by Mangalyaan. And that gives you an idea how powerful the instruments that were made and sent on Mangalyaan. India is on a rising curve. I think the golden age of science and technology, space science, is really started. And in the future, we are going to see more and more glorious victories. Chandrayaan-2, already we know it has gone. It could not land successfully, the lander. Hello? Was there somebody saying something?
So you can carry on, sir. We will mute that person.
Okay. Can you see my presentation properly?
Yes, sir. It's very clear, sir. It's
Okay.
visible.
Right. Then they have planned for Gaganjan, Mangaljan 2, Shukrajan, and even Chandrajan 3. And maybe another 15, 20 years later, our International Indian Space Station. So it's an amazing, exciting moments for the younger generation today who are focusing their studies on science, technology. Because another 10, 15, 20 years time, who will be running all this? Who will be sitting at the console? Who will be creating those rockets? It is you. Some people today will be there doing that, making our country very proud. Saturn. Beautiful ring, 384,000 kilometers wide, 1 to 100 kilometers in thickness, and made up of ice crystals and pebbles. The typical size of the ring in comparison to the Earth, you can see it dwarfs the Earth. Earth is dwarfed by this ring system. And as I told you, it's an amazing phenomena that how come ice crystals and pebbles are not getting dissipated, keeping their shape and size going around Saturn. Then comes asteroids. 1801, an Italian astronomer called Giuseppe Piazzi discovered a piece of rock typically 900 kilometers in diameter between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter, named it Ceres. People thought a new planet has been discovered. But within a couple of years, 2 more, 3 more, Pallas, Vesta, and Juno, each around 500 kilometers in diameter, were discovered in the same region. People realized a new class of object is getting discovered, and starting from 1801 till today, thousands and thousands and thousands pieces of rock, 10, 20, 500 kilometers in size, have been discovered between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter. They are called asteroids. They're a new class of objects. And just to show you our cosmic understanding, this is a true picture, a representation of NASA. Here, each green dot is a discovered asteroid. So those who think that there are only 9 planets going around the sun and nothing else, that is absolutely wrong. Thousands and thousands of bodies are going around the sun. And those red dots, they are called Apollo asteroids. Why they are special? Because their orbit intersects the orbit of Earth. Earth is going on its own. They can come and slam onto the Earth any point of time, right? So you see that we are alive, that we are thriving, that we habitate the Earth is just a matter of chance and accident. Because we cannot control these cosmic objects. People may think that if some asteroid is coming towards the Earth, we can stop it. It's not so easy. There have been suggestions, but scientists, nobody knows for sure how it can be done. So time to time, especially in this year of 2020, at least on 9 occasions, you have seen on the internet, a big chunk of space rock is coming and it may slam onto the Earth. There is a word of caution here. Most of these news are fake because they are not going to come and hit the Earth. They will pass by the Earth, sometimes much, much farther than the moon. So it is some sort of a doomsday people who always tries to find out some destruction happening on Earth. They come out with these stories. You should not be afraid because, my friend, there is nothing to be afraid of. If it hits, it hits. And that is the end of lot of all us. And we cannot stop it. So it's better to live life to its fullest, understanding its own potential, and try to be friendly, try to be good, try to be aesthetic, and try to be riotous. That is the best thing we can do staying on Earth. And you see this photograph, how these asteroids are moving around. The inner four circles, orbits, are that of Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. And the blue orbit in the outside is the Jupiter orbit. And there are so many asteroids. It was some few years back, a Japanese spacecraft called Hayabusa took a snapshot of an asteroid called Itakawa. And only a couple of years back, it did a fantastic thing. Hayabusa 2, another spacecraft, landed onto an asteroid called Ryugu. And this is the first picture of the surface of Ryugu. And they have found huge amount of mineral deposits, which can be mined and used for human civilization, the welfare, in a tremendous way for the future. So asteroid mining is slowly becoming a buzzword among the scientists. Comets, what are they? According to the scientist, 460 crore years back, when from the disk of gas and dust, sun was getting born at the central part. In the outer periphery, beyond Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, where the average temperature was minus 150 to minus 200 degrees centigrade, huge chunks of ice, water ice, ammonia ice, dry ice were floating around. They were colliding with each other and becoming bigger and bigger through the process called rigidation of ice. And then, when their size typically became 10 to 15 kilometers in diameter, they also started going around the sun in extremely elliptic orbit. In their eccentric orbit around the sun, as they came close to the sun, because of the sun's heat, the ice melted and created million kilometers long tail. A comet is only 10 to 15 kilometers at the nucleus, but the tail can be million kilometers long. Are there 9 planets in the solar system? The debate happened because in 2003, November 16, they discovered the piece of object which is going around the sun, far, far away from our inner solar system planets. The name initially was given 2003 UB313. Officially, the International Astronomical Union later has recognized the name Eris, E-R-I-S. It takes around 557 years to go around the sun, and it is larger than Pluto. A tremendous debate started because Pluto was never seriously considered by the scientists as a planet. After it was discovered in 1930, a lot of scientists said Pluto is not a planet because of a lot of reasons. Because of the eccentricity of its orbit, because the orbit is inclined by 17 degrees with the solar system general planetary plane, and because of the size as well. And this object Eris was bigger than Pluto. So scientists started asking questions, and ultimately they challenged, and the world order came to an understanding that in our solar system we have 2 different class of objects: classical planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and dwarf planets. Who became the dwarf planets? Initially, Pluto, and Ceres, and this new object Eris. But in 2015, 2 more dwarf planets have been incorporated into the list of dwarf planets. They are called Haumea and Makemake. 2006, NASA started a slogan, "Follow the water." Try to find water everywhere around, outside the boundary of Earth, because 1 drop of water can give rise to billions of life forms. Mars probably has water. One of the big moons of Jupiter called Europa, when they took a close-up shot, they saw these scratch marks. Scientists theoretically said that the surface of Europa may be made 10 to 15 kilometer thick water ice. Inside there is a huge reservoir of warm water. And this warm liquid water is putting pressure outward, and there are cracks forming on the surface. That this theory was correct was proven in 2015 and 16, when they took the photographs of another moon of Saturn called Enceladus. They could find hot water plumes, as if geysers, coming out from the surface. And you can see for yourself the cracks on the water ice surface. So scientists have already built that machine. 2024, they're going to send it towards Enceladus and Europa, called Cryobot, which is a tremendously large drilling machine with a powerful laser source at the tip. The moment it touches the surface, the laser will be switched on, and by the heat and power of the laser, it will strike a hole and slowly go down the water ice surface. And the moment it touches the liquid water, a small robot will come out, take pictures, and send photographs back to Earth. So my friend, it's an exciting time. 2029, 2030, you will come to know that life is aplenty outside the boundary of Earth. And don't forget, these lives are not always very helpful to our human civilization. It is my time now to take you another 10 minutes out of the solar system. Out of the solar system, if you really observe the sky properly, you will see it's an amazing cosmic vista. As if every dot in the sky is a star. Huge gas clouds of all colors and hues. You may ask the question why we cannot see these clouds or the stars, so many and other times. The problem is with the human eye. Human eye has something called perception of vision. Within 1/10 of a second, whatever amount of light enters through our pupil falls on the retina. Immediately, the optic nerve takes them to the back of our head at the optic lobe to create an image. Our eyes cannot integrate, add light to make a full image. If our eyes were like the CCD camera chips of our mobile phone, looking in a particular direction for 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours, you could have seen the sky is full of stars, as if every dot is a dot of light and huge gas clouds. Are all the stars same? Answer yes and no. Why yes? Because most of the stars are burning hydrogen and helium at the center. Why no? Because stars can come at different masses, initial masses, different surface temperature, different chemical compositions. In terms of mass, stars can come in the range of 0.08 to 100 times the mass of sun, whereas the mass of sun is 2 followed by 30 zeros. In a brief moment, we will try to go a little bit deeper into the life and death of stars. Stars are born from interstellar clouds of gas and dust. In the sky, there are regions where one can see these clouds and also star formation processes. And my friend, true color picture of the sky. Interstellar gas cloud just for you. It's an amazing picture. Don't mix it up with the clouds that you see on our atmosphere. Our atmospheric clouds are the third planet of the solar system and in the atmosphere cloud, but this interstellar cloud can produce 1,000 solar systems. See for yourself, amazing sight. But if you are truly a scientific minded person and go deep into this 2.5 million pixels can produce 10 PhDs. See at the top part, where it is greenish blue, this is for oxygen 4, oxygen 5. Here, where there is a bluish thing, it's for liquid hydrogen. The yellow is for sulfur. The black is for iron. The green is for zinc or molybdenum. And the white is for titanium. Each pixel will tell you a story. Don't forget, you have to be tremendously intelligent to understand the skies. Because from a cosmic object, from a cosmic event, only the signal of light comes to you. You cannot bring down the star to your laboratory, cut it open, test it, smell it, and say, aha, that is it. So this signal of light you have to massage and bring out all the physics, the chemistry, the mathematics behind all these things. See for yourself. It's an amazing feeling, right? This is what I personally call a divine feeling, right? This connects you to the biggest entities in the cosmos. How big it is? You see at the top region, there are two, three globules, dots, right? Like two horns of this huge thing. Each dot, do you know what is the size? There is a fully formed solar system-like system inside each dot. Now you think of the whole size. The universe is throwing us a challenge to the human intellect. Try to understand me, right? See for yourself. It is called pillars of creation, columns of dust moving very fast through interstellar medium. The ram pressure that is generated at the tip, every second new stars are getting born. See for yourself the region where not only one star, but millions of stars, they come together. Think of the chemistry, think of the physics, think of the energy flow in this region and revel in this truth that we are able to see such regions, but at least we are safe, that we are not in such a crowded place which would have made it impossible for any life to happen on Earth. If you are born, you die. Without going into much detail, stars die different ways depending upon their masses. Stars whose initial mass is 1 to 8 times the mass of sun, after they burn out all the hydrogen at the core, right? They will first contract because the outward radiation pressure is not there. But because of the contraction, the temperature at the core rises to 10 crore, 100 million degrees centigrade. At that temperature, 3 helium nuclei fuses to give rise to a carbon nucleus. When the thermonuclear fusion reaction goes on, again, the star halts its contraction. But by the heat that is generated in the periphery, in the surface region of 3 hydrogen nuclei fusing to helium, the reaction that was earlier happening at the center, the star becomes bigger, expands, becomes huge, and is called a red giant. 500 years later, at the death part of our sun will become so big it will touch the orbit of Earth. That is going to be the end of the Earth, much prior to that. Then when the outside is becoming bigger, the inside, when all helium goes into carbon, the mass of the star is not enough to produce more pressure, gravitational pressure, temperature rises to 1,000 crore degrees centigrade. It cannot happen that way. So the inside becomes a hot ball of carbon, and in the sky, like a dot, very bright, becomes white dwarf. By that time, the outward region has expanded and become big, and it's called the planetary nebula. Slowly, it starts getting detached from the central region and creates a cloud-like objects. Over millions of years, this planetary nebula dissipates, and the central white dwarf, continuously giving away heat, becomes cold and brown and black dwarf. But that's not the end. Some of the scientists have given us a theory that the end part, under tremendous temperature and pressure, carbon gets transformed to diamond. And there is a possibility in deep space, 10 to 15 kilometer piece of diamond floating around, one of the likelihood of the end part of our own sun. But in our studies, long time back, we have shown in our group that when the stars, when this outer atmosphere becomes bigger and bigger, because of the tremendous amount of shock produced by each of envelopes of the star, huge amount of chemistry gets synthesized, and a subject of astrochemistry became very vibrant and lively. And we have found almost 140 molecules, most of them organic molecules, seeds of life, can be produced by this process. So if you ask, is there only life on Earth? It's a meaningless question. Any star at its end phase can seed the space, and later on the stars, the planets, with the seeds of life, which through the evolution process, using the chemistry, the temperature of the place, can give rise to life. And that is very important in case of the middle level stars, when one after another, because their mass is more, fusion reaction happens, the central region is ultimately reaches iron. Because iron is very stable, you cannot fuse iron to anything. The whole inside of a star take the shape of a peels of an onion, and you have layers and layers of hydrogen, helium, carbon, oxygen, neon, magnesium, silicon, and iron core. When this happens, the thermonuclear fusion reaction stops. All this material tries to fall inward. The poor fellow iron cannot go anywhere. It becomes rigid, gives a back kick or a retort or a recoil, and the whole star explodes, rather implodes in that sense, giving rise to what is known as supernova explosion. At that point of time, the expression of energy, heat, is so tremendous. The average energy output becomes 10 to the power 54 orgs per second, which is 10 to the power 22 times more than our brightness or the brightness of the sun. And at that moment, starting from iron, all the naturally occurring elements get produced in a fraction of a second. So my friend, next time when you ask this question, an atom of iron in my blood, an atom of calcium in my bones, sodium, magnesium, potassium, whatever is our body is made up of, where from they have come? The answer is they have come from the stars. We are all star children in the truest sense of the term. And that is the biggest cosmic consciousness that we can have. If we ask the question, where from we have come? The answer is from the stars. And if you look at the periodic table, now the scientists have found out almost all the naturally occurring elements, everything is produced in an astrophysical context. Starting from hydrogen to helium, which probably was created during the birth of the universe, that the creation phenomena called the Big Bang. And later on, all the stars, they synthesized this chemistry. So this life cycle of gas and dust in space tells us an important point. If we ask the question, please stop the conversation, please. Please stop the conversation for 2 minutes. I'll finish within 2 minutes. Hello? Can
So
anybody?
sorry, sir. Dear participants, please mute your mic. Dear participants, kindly mute your mic.
Somebody is playing a music. It's amazing. Right. Think of poor me, right? Sweating and saying so many things, and most of you are listening, but some of you are actually putting your legs on a sofa and enjoying the entertainment. My friend, this is not entertainment. I'm sorry. At some point of time, you should take life seriously, right? I'm not saying take this lecture as seriously, but I'm trying to say take yourself seriously. That much I can say. So when the question comes, what is life? How did life occur on Earth? How did it evolve? The answer is life came from space. Not as an alien entity, no, but prebiotic material of life carried by comets, asteroids. When they bombarded the Earth, they seeded the Earth with the first primitive prebiotic molecular objects, molecules, which through the Earth's atmosphere, oceans, evolution, interactions, suddenly life sprung up. So, if you talk about our origin, which is known as the panspermia theory, life came from outer space. It's an amazing feeling. And a new subject is thriving nowadays, astrobiology. So, my friend, thank you for paying this attention to this lecture. I can see it started with some 420 odd, and now it is showing around 384 still logged on to the computer or your mobile. It's an amazing feeling. And believe me, all these issues has told us that as if a new window has opened up in our mind. And through that window, the color, the dimension, the variety, the amazing events, the powerful expressions, the energy, the chemistry, the physics, the biology, is an amazing understanding for each one of us. So this, to my knowledge, is cosmic consciousness. Spirituality that science gives you. That is my understanding. And I personally am happy that more and more people, students, researchers, and common people, they're getting hitched up to this consciousness. They're understanding the dimension of the sky. They're understanding our link with the cosmos. They're understanding that our small life, almost insignificant when you consider the whole earth, 780 crore people, the pandemic, COVID-19 virus, all these are important. But at one corner of our mind, we should always keep it in mind, we are connected to the cosmos. Thank you very much. And I will stop sharing now. And I hope that it was a wonderful experience for me, believe me. And I will pray to my young student friends, try to look into life in a much deeper way. We don't have much time in our life to understand the true meaning of our existence. Each one of you has a tremendous potential. Try to use that potential not only for your benefit, but for the benefit of the society. It is only through the benefit of the society becomes developed. It is only through the development of the society the country prospers. And when the country becomes prosperous, it ultimately you get benefited. So if you want to do good to yourself, talk about society. Do certain things through your concepts, your potential, in every field, not in astronomy only, so that we can understand, we can enrich ourselves and become, we sometimes should introspect and try to talk to ourselves to find whatever I am doing, is it correct? So my friend, thank you very much.
It was indeed most inspiring speech brought in us the cosmic consciousness. Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable time imparting scientific thirst within us. It is the time for us to interact with the speaker. We request the participants to place your queries in the chat box. Sister Princia Mary will ask the query on our behalf.
I think we have started so late because of the power failure. We can only take a couple of questions because I'm sorry for all the faculty members, all the students who are patiently from 11, now it's 1 o'clock. For 2 hours, they are engaged into this. So let us take some couple of short questions. Otherwise, if you have questions, you can send it to Sister Rosaline, and then she can send it by email and I will try to answer them.
Sure, sir. Sir, on behalf of Arun, how the molecular clouds formed in the universe?
The molecular clouds generally form because of the interactions of stellar dynamics, meaning when, first of all, inside the star, hydrogen to helium to carbon, and to bigger stars, you have seen carbon, neon, silicon, sulfur, oxygen happens. But when these stars give out their envelope, they move with tremendous force and they sort of pressurize the medium, and molecules can form out of that reaction.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of Anjan Banik from Tripura, what will be the fate of Sun?
As I mentioned, after around 500 crore years later, Sun will become big. It will become a red giant. Ultimately, it will become a planetary nebula. At the center, there will be a white dwarf, which is hot ball of carbon. Over millions of years, this white dwarf will dissipate away the heat, and ultimately it will become a very dark, very cold, small object. That will be a black dwarf or a brown dwarf. But before, as the sun is becoming bigger, as I told you, the surface of the sun will be so big it will touch the Earth's orbit. So Mercury, Venus, Earth will cease to exist much before that. They will first become very hot and ultimately will get drawn towards the sun itself.
The next question. What is the meaning of earth current?
What is the meaning of Earth?
Earth current. Earth.
Earth connect.
Current.
Earth current. See, there are so many types of currents on Earth, but I personally presume that what you are saying is inside the Earth, when the temperature is more than 3000 degrees centigrade, everything is molten. So as Earth is spinning, so inside the Earth, this molten material is spinning, and that itself is giving rise to an electric current loop. And since an electric current loop has an axial magnetic field, that's why the Earth's magnetism, most of it comes from that only.
So wait a minute, sir. On behalf of Abhishek, magnetic field of Earth, I have prohibited sun rays.
See, I just mentioned in the last question, the answer to the last question, there are two aspects to the Earth's magnetic field. A small amount is of cosmic origin, meaning it is inherited by Earth when it first happened from the solar disk. But most of the magnetic field is because of this motion, bulk motion of charged material at the core of the Earth, giving rise to the magnetic field.
Sir, next question. On behalf of Priyam Halder, how can computer science be helpful in creating simulations in astronomy?
Computer science is one of the biggest subjects in astronomy, because nowadays, starting from observations, simulations, theoretical understanding, what you need only is computer. So in a very big way, computer science engineer, computer science students, they are finding that the opening in astronomy, astrophysics, and space science is tremendous.
Thank you, sir. One more question. Sohamitra asked, the polarity of Earth is getting reversed. So what are the consequences of it?
There can be many consequences. If the magnetic field changes, the first and foremost, your handle or any compass will show opposite direction as not. But there are too many ramifications of this whole reversal, right? That itself is actually subject of a whole discussion, and we can discuss it out of this lecture or somewhere else, later.
So one more question.
Yeah, I think this should be the last question.
What about the universe expansion? What about the universe expansion?
Yeah, according to the description given by Einstein and a Belgian priest called called Lemaitre, they gave theoretically the understanding that our universe is expanding. And this theory was proven when Edwin Hubble observed the motions of the galaxies all around our Milky Way galaxy as if they are going away. And this expansion theory was sort of strongly proved by the expansion, by the recession velocity or the going away of all the galaxies from our viewpoint. And now we know by different observations that our galaxy is expanding. Because even today, if you observe a distant galaxy, you will see the light coming from that galaxy because of a particular transition is shifted towards the red side of the wavelength, or the wavelength is becoming more. And this is happening not because of some magic, but because the galaxy is going away from our galaxy. So the red shift, as it is called, of all the galaxies around tells us our universe is expanding.
Sir, one more question. Let it be the final question. It's from our principal system. What is the connection between spirituality, mysticism, and cosmic consciousness?
Spirituality, mysticism. If you take religion out of these two words, it's a part of our consciousness. Because, my friend, I'm very clear in this. I may be a religious-minded person. That doesn't tell me that everything that is around, I should attach a connection, religious connection to that. But spirituality, mysticism, what is that? It is different aspects of your human mindscape at different times. Science has come up sometimes based on the intuitive ideas, right? Starting from the Benjamin ring, other things. So there is some sort of a mysticism in our understanding, and when we can go deeper and try to resolve that mysticism, science becomes enhanced, science progresses. So definitely, this feeling of universal concept of cosmos, the feeling of our origin being a part of cosmic event, feeling that we are made up of cosmic dust, each of this tells us that whatever we think of cosmos, it may not be a part of our daily life. It may not come useful when I'm eating my lunch, but at the back of everything of our existence, cosmos is continuously playing a very big role.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your explanation.
Very kind of you, Sister Princia, for interacting with Honorable Speaker on our behalf. It is the time to call it a day. Before we end this webinar, I call upon Mr. Tangabandi, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, to propose the vote of thanks.
A warm afternoon to you all. It's my pride and honor to propose the vote of thanks to all those who designed and executed this webinar. I thank and praise God Almighty for His showers of blessings for organizing this event. Our institution gratefully acknowledges the virtual presence of Dr. DEBIPRASOD, Director, Research and Academic, MP BIRLA Institute of Fundamental Research, Kolkata. It was a wonderful sharing which truly brought cosmic consciousness. A million thanks to you, Esbeta sir. In a special manner, we thank Reverend Father R.K. Sami Xavier, SJ, Principal of St. Joseph's College, who set the tone for the webinar by his felicitation. Thank you so much, dear Father. We thank our beloved Secretary, Reverend Sister Xavier, for her blessings and wishes. Thank you, Sister. The Department of Mathematics is very grateful to our dear Principal, Dr. Reverend Sister Alphonse Rosalind Mary, for all that she had been to this webinar, starting from fixing the speaker and guiding us in all the steps that we took organizing this webinar. Thank you, Sister. We thank Sister Princia for assisting in raising queries on behalf of behalf of the participants, thank you, sister. We appreciate and thank the team of organizers headed by Mr. Ashokan, and we also thank all the faculty members for the support written. Thank you, dear friends. The participants, if not by your presence, the webinar might not be successful. We thank you all sincerely on behalf of our college. Once again, thank you one and all.
Thank you so much, sir, for the gratitude expressed. Respected speakers and dear participants, we thank you all sincerely once again for joining the webinar. See you all at another virtual event organized by our college. Thank you one and all. Have a great day. We inform the participants that you will receive your certificate within a week. Kindly remember to fill the feedback link posted in the chat box. Thank you.